Cross My Heart Ministry, fall is in the air. October is less than a week away. Fall has arrived, and we're all hoping that cool temperatures are about to come as well. Fall has always been my favorite season. For some reason, I just love it. It may go back to those years of being the geeky kid that was always excited for school to start, and as the fall season approached, I knew it was time for back to school. But even more than that, all these years later, even though I'm not going back to school, I love pumpkins on the porch, mums on the steps. I love looking out and seeing changing leaves up in the trees and pumpkin flavors and smells. Oh my, the pumpkin candle burning, the pumpkin flavored coffee, it's just delightful. So hopefully it'll also be sweater weather soon, and we will have a break from the high temps that we're still kind of enduring here in Northwest Arkansas. Well, as the month changes, our subscribers know that also means it's time to release our 2 free downloads that we do every single month. And of course, I'm talking about our Write the Word bookmark, and Beth, as usual, has done a lovely fall theme for us. It's got kind of some leaves here with some fall colors. Our word for this month is strong or strength. So every single verse will have the word strong or the word strength in it. And our key verse that's featured on our Do It list is, "The Lord is my strength and my song. He has become my salvation." And so I hope that as you go about the tasks that maybe we're talking about, we're going to unpack today on our Do It list, you will have that song on your heart. And because of your salvation, because of your identity in Christ, He will be your strength and He will also be your song. When we consider our 2 free downloads, this is our Mary gift, helping us sit at the feet of Jesus and learn from Him, and our Martha gift, helping us to stay on task, keep our home neat and tidy and clean and organized. And so, of course, if you're familiar with this, the way it works, I just don't think it's realistic or possible, at least it wasn't in my life, to have one day a week or one day a month that was just cleaning day. I would just probably not want to get out of bed that day because there are other things to do. You see, I believe that a clean house is not the end goal. The end goal is to manage that so that you can do the things that God has called you to do, to bring Him glory, to love on people and care for your family. And so managing the house is a necessary part of that. But if we do just a little each day, and that's what these boxes are all about. Check them off each day, check off as many as you can, and then reap the rewards of just little by little, incrementally, having your house in order, clean, and tidy. If you are familiar with it, or if you're not, we have a daily section, a weekly section, and a monthly section. And so you'll figure it out, that checking those boxes off, it will just happen. Now, what we like to do once a month when we present the new Do It list is unpack one of the items on the list. And so this month I want to talk about an item that shows up not once a year, but twice a year as we cycle some things out on our monthly list. Now, we do cycle out seasonal things. The daily tasks, the weekly tasks, those are pretty much repetitive. We don't really change those. But over in that monthly section, there are some tasks in maintaining our home that only need to be done once a year or perhaps twice a year. The one I want to talk about today is one of those twice a year tasks, and I've labeled it Purge, the full closet purge. Now you might say, well, why do you put it on there twice a year? Well, of course, because we all have more than one closet. And so if you have 6 closets in your house and you do the full closet purge each time, once in April, once in October, every 3 years you'll get through all 6 closets. So full closet purge the first time might take a significant amount of time. But as you revisit it, it's going to take less time because you've gotten there. And so the reason we put it on there twice is, first of all, so that you'll get to all your closets. And secondly, because what it takes to get there is what it takes to stay there. And once you do it, it's going to need to be done again. So even if you cycle through, continuing to use that Do It list for several years, by the time you finish purging that last closet, the first one's probably going to need to be accomplished again, tackled again. Okay, so I've called it Full Closet Purge, and I may demonstrate that or talk about how to tackle it all in one day. And if that is the way you approach it, that's going to be a full Saturday. You're going to just probably take a full afternoon or a day that you don't have to go anywhere. Throw some soup in the crock pot and and tackle that closet and get after it. But probably, realistically, doing the full closet purge might not work if you have a busy lifestyle or if you have children at home. And so I'm going to share some tips today for tackling it into sort of smaller time segments to make it happen. So the approach is going to be the same. We're going to use my S.P.A.M method, and if you've watched a few of my organizational videos, you know I've sort of coined this little phrase that I call S.P.A.M it, S.P.A.M, and that acronym is sort, purge, arrange, and maintain. And so the first thing you have to do, whether you're purging the whole closet, whether you're really doing a deep clean in the refrigerator, whether you're organizing a drawer, is you pull everything out and you wipe it down and clean it out, whether that's the refrigerator, the closet, whatever. And then you do that, the sort, the purge, arrange, and maintain. So if you just do not have time to tackle an entire closet, I'm going to talk today about some tips for because life is so full, for kind of tackling it a little bit at a time. Now, to help us, I've got some free downloads this month. So in addition to our 2 free downloads that are always there each month, today, going along with the full closet purge, we've got some free tags, and they're called Put Away, Throw Away, and Give Away. And these are to help you with that sort, purge kind of idea. And so we've got them in various sizes and various shapes and various colors. I cut out 2 of them, but let me just show you the other designs. These are all going to be in one PDF, so you can print whichever page you like. Grab your scissors and trim them. But the three labels are going to be Put Away, Throw Away, Give Away. We've got them in different colors and sizes. Here are some round ones. Here's a smaller version of the ones I've got demonstrated here. We've got them in lavender. We've got them in a curvy little font, all sorts of different ones. These little ones are turquoise, and they also are the Put Away, Throw Away, Give Away. Now, I didn't make up the Put Away, Throw Away, Give Away. I want to give credit to Emily Barnes. I read her organizational book, maybe back in the 80s, I suppose, and I love that, Put Away, Throw Away, Give Away. So you pull everything out of the closet, or out of part of the closet, as we're going to talk about in a minute, and then you make that decision. This is sort of the purging sort of decision, or what happens to what was in the closet. So you put it away, throw it away, give away. So first you sort of sort it into categories or like-minded things. So if there are games, if there are toys, if there are books, if there are pants or shirts or jackets or dresses, so you sort it into those categories. And let's say you end up having 10 dresses, and so you look at those 10 dresses, you've got it sorted in, and you're just analyzing the dresses, and then you decide, am I going to put it away, which means hang it back up, put it away, am I going to throw it away because it's got holes or the zipper's broken or whatever, put away, throw away, or am I going to give it away? Does it have some life left in it? It no longer fits me. It's no longer my style. I'm just not going to wear it again. And so there you take, after you've sorted, then you decide, is it a put away, throw away, or a give away item? And give away could mean that if you are trying to be frugal or trying to make a little bit of extra money, maybe you snap a picture of whatever that item is and you list it on Facebook Marketplace. Or maybe you're going to have a garage sale and you save it for that. In that case, you'll have a box or a place where that's going to be held until it goes on to the next place. My husband likes to tease me because I sell a lot of things on Amazon Marketplace, and so I go to Seller Central, and if it's got a barcode, he says I can sell it. So I'll snap a picture, get it listed, and then things are flying out the door. He often jokingly says, I hope you never put a barcode on me, or I don't look up and find one. You'll probably be shipping me off in a box. That will never happen. But at any rate, when you get your tags ready, when you print them and trim them, I put a little bit of twine on here. I think it's very helpful when you're starting your closet organization to have a couple of boxes, 3 boxes, maybe like this little banker box, which is nice because it has a lid. And if you are doing this in time segments and you're not going to be able to finish it right away, or if you just have a laundry basket or just sort of a cardboard box that something was delivered in. But if you have a place to store it, especially if you're doing it in segments and you're going to do 20 minutes here and then come back later again, it's nice to have those things corralled, because if you do your pulling out and you're sorting and you're ready to do the put away, throw away, give away, and they're just in little piles, well, those piles are probably just sort of going to fritter away. Somebody's going to come along, especially if you have children, they're going to pick up something out of the pile, it's going to get scooted around, and suddenly they're just all going to sort of morph together. So I like to use some containers when I'm tackling this task, so that when I'm finished, I know that in my put away box, I either need to hang it up and put it back there in that closet, or maybe it's going to be put away someplace else in the house. It might be some items that are going to live somewhere else. So there's the put away. The throw away is just what it is. I might put a garbage bag in here and put all the items in the, have the garbage bag open up over it. When it goes in the garbage bag, I'm not going to look at it again. I'm just going to close it up and take it out to the garage and put it in the trash can, and it's done. And then if it's a giveaway or a save to sale or the garage sale, or maybe the church is having some sort of a clothing giveaway, then those things can go on to the next place as well. But you've got them sort of corralled. So back to the ideas to divide and conquer that I promised. This is a way that maybe makes it happen, because doing the full closet purge when you are just living in the midst of a full schedule and you just don't see where you would have several hours to tackle, this is one way to approach it. So the first method that I'm going to call the top-down approach. And with the top-down approach, it's just what it sounds like. Instead of doing the whole closet, you're going to start at the top. And so if you have shelves in your closet, the first thing you're going to do on that little 20-minute or 30-minute chunk of time that you've allocated is just take everything off the top shelf. And you're going to proceed to do the sorting and the purging. You're going to use the little tags to do the put away, throw away, giveaway, decide what's going to go back up on the shelf, what's going to be put away in another part of the house. Maybe something made its way there that doesn't even belong there. And then, of course, there'll be things that you decide to throw away or things you decide to give away. While you have the things off the shelf, you're going to go ahead and dust that shelf and make sure it's nice and clean. And then after you determine what's going to go back up there, you put it up there and you're done. And so 20 minutes, maybe not even 20 minutes if it's not a huge closet. So with the top-down approach, first thing, you just do the shelf on the very top. Then you come back maybe the next night or the next afternoon, or whenever you eyeball your time schedule, wherever you're finding your next 20 or 30-minute time segment, and you're going to then do what's on the rod. So I'm assuming this is a closet with a shelf and a rod and a floor. So now you're going to take everything off of the rods. And so if it's a coat closet, it might be coats and jackets. If it is a clothing closet, there's jeans, there's blouses, there's skirts. If it's a kid's closet, it might be something different. But all those things that are hanging, this one will probably take a little bit longer. So the top shelf and the floor may not take as long, but the idea is you're going to sort those things into like-minded things, into like things. So you'll have your stack of jeans, your stack of blouses, your stack of skirts or dresses or what have you. After you sort those, and sometimes it might be fun to sort of play a little game with yourself before you begin. So ask yourself, how many pairs of blue jeans do I think I need? And if you decide that 6 pairs of blue jeans is all that any one woman would ever really need to have, and you count and realize to your shock that you have 15 pairs of blue jeans, then maybe right off the bat you know, I am going to get rid of some blue jeans. I see some here that I've had since 1993. I don't wear them anymore. Or maybe there's a pair of blue jeans that you just love, and you've been holding on to them because you think, this is my motivation to lose weight. I'm going to get back into those jeans. And you realize that that's not just a dream, that's like a fantasy. That's never going to happen. Maybe that was 2 or 3 kids ago, and those jeans are no longer motivating you, they're just mocking you. So let them go, pass them on, what have you. But as you do all the sorting, then you make the decision about what's going to go out the door. Maybe some just have holes and just need to be thrown away. Some are going to be put back on. So when you get ready to put them back on, there might be some dusting that takes place. When we get ready to put the things back on, I'll share some ideas about that in a minute. So you've tackled now the rod. And so with our top-down approach, the third time segment that you budget and allocate now is to the floor. And so things just make their way into the floor. Things are underneath the clothing that's hanging. We find stuff back there we didn't even know we still had. Maybe something that you were looking for. And so you pull it all out. You're going to go ahead and dust those baseboards, sweep out or vacuum the floor underneath, clean it all while it's there. And again, we're doing the same idea, the sort, purge, arrange, maintain, the put away, throw away, give away, figure out what's going to go back, what needs to go someplace else, what goes out the door, what goes in the trash, what have you. You get the idea. But instead of tackling that whole closet and needing 3 or 4 hours that you just don't have, you tackle it with 20 minutes, maybe 45 minutes, another 20 minutes, and voila. It may take 3 time segments, but you've divided and conquered and you've finished it. So the top-down approach is the #1 method. The second one is just the category approach. Now, this might be sort of a variation of this. This might be a little more confusing. This might work more if you've got sort of a multi-purpose closet. So let's say you've got a big closet in your foyer or entryway or someplace else, maybe in a basement or something like that, a guest room. And so this idea is the category approach. And the way it works is we're going to take out things by category. So if you look in that closet and there's lots of sporting equipment, you're going to take all the sporting equipment out and sort of sort it and purge it and have your boxes sorted out. And then the next time you're going to take out all the games or the toys. And then maybe there are puzzles in there and you're going to pull out all the puzzles. Perhaps there's jackets, so then you'll pull out the jackets. You're pulling things out by category and making that approach. The kind of confusing part about this method is I really think before you start putting it back, you need to sort of have grabbed each category because you may arrange things differently than where they were before. So the category approach can be effective, but it also might mean that you keep it all out and then put it all back at the same time because you're not dealing with just specific locations within that closet, if that makes sense. But the concept is still the same. We're still going to sort, purge, arrange, and then figure out at the end how we're going to maintain it, how we're going to arrange it and maintain it to keep it all in there nice and neat and tidy. Then the last method, I'm calling this the quadrant approach. Now maybe you have a couple of closets at your house like we have in ours where there's sort of double doors that open and we've got some built-ins there. So it's sort of a combination of a couple of rods that are stacked, one long rod for longer items, and then some cubbies and shelves. So it's just sort of a combination of an arrangement, which I really like, but it doesn't lend itself just necessarily to a top-down. So if you have that kind of a closet, you could sort of eyeball it and sort of visually divide that closet into 4 quadrants. And so your first 20-minute time segment, you might tackle the top left side and set the timer maybe even for that 20 minutes and just see how much you can get finished, and then don't get immersed in it because you're trying to budget that time and fit it in. You don't want to not make dinner for your family or not get your kid to soccer practice or not finish whatever you needed to do, whatever else was on your schedule that night. So I like to play this game with myself often when I'm tackling a project. I'll look at my watch and say, okay, how much can I get done in 20 minutes? And I'll set the timer and I'll just work in a frenzy and just try to almost compete against the clock, to beat the clock and see how much I can finish in that amount of time. That may sound a little weird, and some of my friends that know me are just probably laughing right now and rolling their eyes like, yeah, that sounds like Laura. So anyway, my point is that if you've budgeted the time for that one quadrant, finish it and then set your boxes aside and go on to the next thing. And then when you've budgeted time for the next one, do the next quadrant. So now you're at the top right-hand side, bottom left, bottom left and bottom right. So you sort of divide the closet up into fourths and tackle each one. So that you don't get caught up in it and not get to the other things, try to limit yourself and stay within the time that you budgeted for it. But again, you're going to use our little sort, purge, and arrange, maintain method. You're going to use the boxes to put away, throw away, give away, and it just makes it logical. You're going to be sure and do the very same things we did with the other approaches. You're going to dust the shelves, you're going to vacuum the floor, dust the baseboards, and just make sure that closet is nice and neat before you put it all back. Now, the one danger about doing all this is when you have everything out of the closet, you may start to look at it and think, wow, this closet could really use a new paint job. And you sort of might feel like if you give a mouse a cookie, that the mom starts off to clean out the kids, maybe go through their clothing, and then she ends up purging the closet. And when she takes everything out of the closet, she decides she needs some new hangers, and then she decides she needs to paint the closet, and so it can just go on and on. But it is a distinct possibility that if it needs it, maybe that's the time to go ahead and get that closet painted as well. Okay. Some additional ideas while you're doing this closet maintenance and doing the closet maintaining, the sort, purge. Now we're to the arranging and the maintaining part. I have started to switch to these slimline hangers. I just love the way they fit on the shelves. I love that the hangers themselves don't take up a lot of space. The more of these you buy, the more economical they are. So if you buy a box of 100, you're going to get a better price, what have you. But I've picked them up in different places, ordered them on Amazon. Here you go. So these are just so nice. Now, when you start arranging things back in your closets, it has been suggested to me that one idea, and maybe this would work well for a child's closet, is to put articles of clothing that go together. So if your little guy has a pair of shorts or has a pair of pants and a shirt that go together, then put those two things on a hanger and put them together so he can find the things that go together, and so on. Now, for me personally, as an adult or as a woman in my closet, I like to look in my closet and see all the slacks hanging together, all the blue jeans hanging together, all the blouses, all the dresses, and so on. So that probably wouldn't work for me. I just like seeing that all together. Another little idea is when you hang your things back up after you've sorted and purged and got rid of the things that you don't like, don't fit, or torn, whatever, when you hang them up back on the rod, instead of doing it this way, the idea is to go ahead and go in from the back of the rod and hang everything back up on your rod in the reverse order. The reason is, then the first time you use it, when you take it off the rod and you actually wear it, then after it's laundered or when it's hung back up, you hang it on the regular way. And so what that will do is, over the course of a few weeks or a few months or waiting until the seasons change, it's going to let you know precisely which items of clothing you're just never wearing. And if they hang up in the closet month after month, week after week, year after year, and they're not worn, then those are the prime candidates for getting purged the next time you cycle back to do that closet. So you may give that a try, and that will let you know which ones just need to go out the door. If you don't like the slimline hangers, perhaps you like these plastic hangers. And so these are nice because they just seem to not keep from your slacks getting like a line in them and having to iron like they do with a metal hanger. But I had a friend once who liked to use colored hangers. She was a person who ironed, and so everybody in the family had a different color hanger. So mom's hanger may be red and dad's was blue, and so it was easy to know after she ironed whose clothes went back to which closet. That would be one way to use your colored hangers. Another would be, if you like to have your closet sort of color coded, is to look up there and see that all of my blue jeans are on a blue hanger, and all of my dress slacks are on a black hanger, and all of my blouses are on a white hanger, and all of my dresses are on a red hanger. So you might use the colored hanger approach just to sort of sort your things, and maybe even the number of hangers dictates how many you get to have. And so if you're going to put yourself on a blue jean budget and you tell yourself, I'm only going to let myself keep on hand a maximum of 8 pairs of blue jeans, then maybe if you've got 8 hangers, that's what you have, and you have to get rid of any additional ones over and above the 8 hangers. So there's an alternative to think about, using color-coded hangers to keep things organized and tidy. Now, another idea as you're starting to put things away is, if you have some sort of cubbies in your closet, or if there's a shelf above your rod, you might measure what that distance is and just see if perhaps it would be helpful to invest in some little cubbies or some sort of plastic lightweight baskets, so that things like scarves or things with small pieces or games or puzzles, if there are things that could go in there that caps or ball gloves or sports equipment, what have you, if there are things that would just stay in there nicer and neater and tidier if they were corralled in sort of a little basket that could be pulled down, then maybe you would want to get those measurements and then look around on Amazon, at Walmart, at Target, at Bed Bath & Beyond, wherever, and invest in some of those. But you're going to want to get those measurements. You're also going to want to be sure and label those. There's nothing worse than just seeing those up there and they're never accessed because nobody knows what's in them and they don't bother to pull them down. So be sure and label things if you're going to utilize that sort of idea. The last sort of tip is if you just have limited closet space, if they're just, your closets are small, maybe it's an older house, you could be like us. When we were raising our children, they shared a room, and our kids were empty nesters now, but our 2 girls shared a room, our 2 boys shared a room. And so even though it was a walk-in closet, there were some shelves and then there was a rod, but it just wasn't adequate, the size of that closet, for clothing for 2 children. And so what we did is we invested in these huge Rubbermaid tubs that had lids, and we rotated clothes seasonally. It was a job to haul them up to the attic and back down, but it was just what worked for us. And of course we kept some things out that sort of traversed both seasons. I didn't put all the short sleeve shirts up or all the long sleeve shirts up. We kept a couple of pieces out to sort of help bridge the gap as things would get warmer or things would get colder. But for the most part, sweaters would go in the attic in the summertime, and bathing suits would go in the attic in the wintertime, and so on. So we would load up and transition out. That was always an arduous task on that day that we would cycle through and change things out for the seasons. But by getting them out of the tub, it forced us to sort of look at each thing, and with the kids figure out what no longer fit, what they'd outgrown, what would get passed down to a younger sibling, what needed to be replaced, and that kind of thing. But we also did it for my husband and myself as well. Like I said, it was a lot of work, but it also sort of forced us to go through our things and to put hands on what we have and to consider whether or not we needed to keep it or release it and pass it on. You know, sometimes we hold on to things because we think, I paid good money for this and I want to be a good steward of this. I can't just throw it away. But yet, if you're holding on to it and you're not using it or you're not wearing it, that's where we sort of cross the line to being greedy or being hoarders. And if it's something that can be useful or can be used by someone else, then let's release that and let it go and pass it along to someone else that can be blessed to use it. If you're a mom still with kids at home, this method could be a great way to begin some of their life skills training. And so even though there'll be that great temptation to send the kids off to the park with dad, or y'all go get a hamburger or go get ice cream or go to grandma's house for the day and I'm just going to get this done, it can be a good thing to let your children participate in this process. Not only will it help prepare them for life, it will let them just see that the importance of maintaining things and the joy of having it organized. And if they have done all that work, they might be more likely to help maintain that and see the importance of putting things back where they go so that they don't have to go through all this again. Also, those things belong to them. If it's their closet, it's their clothing and their toys and their books, and some of the things that you might think need to be purged might be things that are important to them. And so respecting them and honoring them and letting them have a say in what stays and what goes could also be a good thing. It will take you longer, no doubt about it. It will take you longer, but it's an investment you're making in the future. If you want to keep cleaning out your kids' closets when they're 14, 16, 18, then keep doing it. But if you want to eventually pass off the baton of ownership for this, then start training them early and let them be a part of it. And I guarantee you, there will be some daughters-in-law out there someday that will love you if you train up your sons to do this as well. Well, October is indeed a great time to tackle our closets because the holidays are going to come shortly thereafter. And clearing out what we don't need lets us start to begin to make our list of what we might want to put on our Christmas list, but it's always good to take stock of what you already have before you start talking about what you need or what you want. So that Christmas list the kids will be making will be coming up. But in the meantime, get ready for fall, ladies. Celebrate the changing of the seasons. Worship our great God, who was the genius that thought up seasons and gave us that lovely rhythm to life and seasons. And each new season in life, each new season as we look out and behold nature is a new opportunity to celebrate our great God. What a creative genius He is, how good He is for us. And I just hope that whatever you are doing, there's a song in your heart as you are declaring, the Lord is my strength and song, He has become my salvation. I hope He's your salvation. I hope that you realize that it is in Him that you live and move and have your being. I hope you'll go ahead now and print our Write the Word bookmark. That link is in the show notes below. And whether this is your first month to write with us or whether this has become your tradition every month, I pray that this will be a blessing to you as you consider each of these verses that has the word strong or strength, and it stirs up your heart to worship the Lord with all your heart, soul, mind, and your strength. And again, I hope this little do-it list is also a blessing to you, helping you get home and hearth organized. And ladies, happy fall and happy closet purging. For Cross My Heart Ministry, I'm Laura McFarland. Thanks for spending part of your day with me today.